Doctor Who Story by Story. The Empty Child Review. Just the facts. The Empty Child is the name of a two-part story in the first series of the 21st century televised fan-fiction parallel universe version of the Doctor Who programme, loosely based on the original series. It starred Christopher Eccleston in his first and ultimately only season as the Doctor along with his companion Rose Tyler, played by Billie Piper. The two-part story, the second episode of which went out under the title of The Doctor Dances, was the first to be written by Stephen Moffat, whose previous television credits included the BAFTA-winning late 80s to early 90s teen drama series Press Gang and the early 2000s situation comedy series Coupling, and who would go on to write 3 stories for the David Tennant Doctor, The Girl in the Fireplace, Blink and the two-part Silence in the Library, before taking over as showrunner in 2010 and running the show completely into the ground. The Empty Child was produced by new series showrunner Russell T. Davies and directed by James Hawes, who would go on to direct the first Tennant story, The Christmas Invasion, and 2 from Series 2, New Earth and School Reunion. Plot. The Doctor and Rose pursue a piece of space junk to Earth, and find themselves in the Blitz in London in the middle of World War II. A strange child wearing a gas mask and constantly asking for his mummy is wandering the streets, and the Doctor soon discovers that this is no ordinary lost child but a virtual zombie whose very touch can transform his victims into gas-masked zombies themselves. Guest cast. The major guest star of The Empty Child is John Barrowman as rogue time agent from the future, Captain Jack Harkness, who would go on to appear in the 2 remaining stories of Series 1, Boomtown, and the 2-part season finale Bad Wolf, before getting his own series in Torchwood. Barrowman would also reprise his role in Doctor Who itself in the climactic 3-part story of Series 3, Last of the Time Lords, the 2-part Series 4 finale Journey's End, and a brief cameo at the close of the final Tennant story, The End of Time. The other main guest star of The Empty Child is Florence Hoth as Nancy, who had played a major role as a child actress in the 1997 film Fairy Tale, A True Story, as one of the girls claiming to have photographed fairies in her garden. A memorable extended cameo role, as Dr. Constantine, is played by Richard Wilson, an instantly recognizable British character actor from innumerable British comedy and drama series going back many decades, whose most famous role is of course as the perpetually harassed Victor Meldrew in the much-loved comedy series One Foot in the Grave. Trivia. The horrific scene near the close of Part 1 as Dr. Constantine transforms into a gas mask zombie was slightly edited to remove the sound of his skull cracking, which the production team deemed to be too horrific for a pre-Watershed show. However, the sound was apparently restored for the DVD release. The cliffhanger marked the first time that the Next Time trailer, which was a constant trademark of the new series, was moved until after the closing credits. The previous 2-part story in Series 1, Aliens of London, had included the trailer straight after the end of the episode, as was the norm with single stories, but which was felt to have diminished the impact of the cliffhanger ending. The name of the Chiller ships actually came from the Indian-Bangladeshi fusion restaurant called Chiller in Hammersmith, where the writers chosen to contribute to Series 1 by Russell T. Davies had celebrated and talked about the briefs for the stories they had been selected to write. The story was released on a single DVD along with the preceding Series 1 episodes The Long Game and Father's Day in 2005, as well as in the complete Series 1 DVD the same year and later Blu-ray box set in 2013. Reaction. The Empty Child proved to be a massively popular Doctor Who story with fans and critics alike, winning the 2006 Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation and being ranked as the 5th best Doctor Who story of all time in a 2009 poll in the official Doctor Who magazine. A similar poll conducted 5 years later in 2014 saw the story ranked as the 7th best story of all time, also being thus ranked as the second best story of the 2000s era of the program, behind only another Stephen Moffat story, the Series 3 David Tennant story Blink. What I think. I instantly fell in love with The Empty Child on transmission back in 2005, and my opinion, after yet another viewing just a month or so ago, has not changed. In fact, in 2018 I still regard The Empty Child as the best story of the entire new series of Doctor Who. You can take that either as an affirmation of the quality of The Empty Child or as evidence of my growing disdain for the modern version of the program. It's really up to you. But yeah, I think The Empty Child is great. The period setting and night shooting give the story an almost unique atmosphere that is utterly irresistible. The script is near pitch perfect and arguably among the closest the new series has ever gotten to actually resembling and feeling like the original. Christopher Eccleston arguably gives his best performance as the Doctor, showing again how utterly robbed we were because of petty and unprofessional behind-the-scenes shenanigans. Florence Hoth is superb as the completely sympathetic Nancy, and her being utterly gorgeous doesn't hurt either. And Richard Wilson also adds some serious class and gets arguably the best and most iconic scene at the close of the first episode. All in all, I fucking love The Empty Child, and it pains me that 13 years on the new series has rarely approached this level of quality again. The Empty Child is a rare, if not unique, example of a 21st century Doctor Who story that I cannot possibly give a rating of anything less than a full-on A+.